that emerges within the ADC coalition, would you step aside in the interest of unity?
No, it's not the issue of stepping aside, but would I support?
Right.
I think what would I say in the coalition is that we will, the first option will be to work out a consensus. If that doesn't, of course, emerge, then we go for direct president. I mean, I will support anybody who emerges.
Right. So either a consensus candidate, and that's the first option.
Yes, that's the first option as far as the party is concerned. We will aim at consensus. If we don't get it, then we go for elections.
Right. That sounds like something that will be terribly disputatious.
I don't expect we will get to that level because we are dealing with really mature politicians and experienced politicians as well.
But you're also dealing with people with huge political ambitions.
Well, that's a different thing altogether. But we have all agreed that this is the way to save democracy in this country.
Something is happening inside the ADC. Something that looks like unity on the surface. But underneath, there is a pressure cooker building. And the lid or the cover is about to blow. 2 interviews, 1 man, and enough political dynamite to either save Nigeria's opposition or destroy it completely. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar sat down with Arise TV this week and said something that stopped the country cold. He said, and I quote, "The first option will be to work out a consensus. If that doesn't work out, then we will go for primary election. But I will support anybody who emerges. Simple words, clean words. But don't let that calm you, because buried inside that statement is one of the most explosive political confessions Nigeria has ever had in years. And if you are not paying close attention, you are going to miss exactly what is at stake." Let's slow this down, because the Waziri Adamawa is not just talking about party process. He's talking about his entire life ambition. Atiku has contested the presidency 4 times, in 2007, 2011, 2019, and 2023. And on Arise TV this week, he confirmed that 2027 will be his last outing, he said. Certainly yes. The stakes are higher, and I believe that this will be my last outing. Over 30 years, multiple parties, multiple attempts, multiple heartbreaks, and now, one final shot. So when a man like this says he will step aside for whoever wins, you must ask yourself, are you sure about that? Because here is the terrifying reality sitting at the center of this story. Right now, Atiku and P2B are regarded as front runners for the ADC's presidential ticket. And others, Kwankwaso and Amechi, are also believed to be in the running. You understand what that means? You have 4 of the most powerful, most ego-driven, most strategically calculating politicians in this country, all inside one party, all wanting the same ticket. That is not a coalition. That is a pressure cooker. And somebody turned the heat all the way up. The journalists on Arise TV understood this. They pushed Atiku hard. They didn't let him breathe. They asked him directly, what if it is P2B? What if the man you once made you a running mate, the man who ran against you on a rival platform in 2023, drew millions of young Nigerians away from your campaign? What if he's the one who wins? Atiku looked into that camera and said, it is not the issue of stepping aside. Rather, would I support? In the coalition, the first person would be to work out a consensus. If that doesn't emerge, then we go for a direct primary, and I will support anybody who emerges. And when they pressed him specifically on Obi, he said, of course, if he's contender, why not? When they pointed out that Obi was once his vice presidential running mate, Atiku responded, what is difficult there? It is democracy. Democracy, he said, democracy. But my people, Nigerian politics has never been that clean, and everybody watching that interview knows it. Here is where the anxiety really starts. Public affairs analyst Donald Okwuosa told Legit NG that Atiku's financial influence and deep political network could give him a significant edge in indirect primary, but that P2B would floor every other contestant if the ADC adopts a direct primary, where ordinary registered members vote instead of party delegates. Do you hear that? The method of picking the candidate changes everything. Everything. Consensus favors backroom deals, and Atiku has spent decades mastering backroom deals. A direct primary favors mass popularity, and among the Nigerian electorate, particularly the youth, P2B's numbers are formidable. So the question of how the candidate is picked is not just procedural, it is existential. It determines who wins, and everyone inside that party knows it. Atiku told Sahara reporters this week, as far as the party is concerned, we will aim at consensus. I don't expect it to get to that level, meaning primaries, because we are dealing with matured and experienced politicians. Matured and experienced politician, that phrase should be making you nervous, because in Nigeria, mature politicians reaching a consensus usually means one set of the powerful people sitting in a room deciding who gets what and presenting a fait accompli to everyone else. And if you are P2B or Kwankwaso or Amechi and that room makes a decision that doesn't go your way, then we will see how mature everyone really is. Already on social media, Nigerians are fracturing over this. One user wrote, P2B cannot be vice to anybody, never. Obi for president or make them fumble the party. Another one wrote, if their excellencies, Atiku and Obi refuse to come together as president and vice president together, respectively, let's all forget about 2027. These are not fringe opinions. These are voices of Nigerians who are watching this coalition, one hand gripping hope and the other bracing for disappointment. Because they have been here before. They have watched Nigerian opposition implode from ego. They have watched consensus become a weapon. They have watched mature politicians tear everything apart. Atiku described himself on Arise TV as the leading initiator of this entire coalition. I am one of the initiators of this coalition, or perhaps the leading initiator. The man who built this house is now saying he will live in it, even if someone else gets the biggest room. This is either statesmanship of the highest order, or it is a holding statement designed to buy time while the real negotiations happen far from any camera. And underneath all of this, underneath the coalition talks and underneath consensus plans and the television pledges, there is a country that is suffering with inflation above 30% and the naira still under brutal pressure. Atiku declared this week that Nigerians are yearning for change. They are ready for it. They are being pushed to the wall and are prepared to even do more than they did in previous election. Those people pushing against that wall cannot afford this coalition to collapse. They cannot afford another 2023, another fractured opposition, another split vote, another morning where they wake up and nothing has changed. The ADC is carrying those people's hopes right now, and the weight is enormous. Atiku said this is his final outing. That's left to the next generation to take it on. Maybe that is true. Maybe the Waziri has genuinely made his peace with the possibility of not being the one. Or maybe, just maybe, the consensus talks breaks down. Maybe the primaries happen. Maybe the result is contested. Maybe the coalition cracks right down in the middle. And maybe in that moment, all these beautiful television pledges turn to dust. 2027 is not here yet. The ADC is not decided. The consensus has not been reached. And the most dangerous time in any coalition is not before the promise, it is after it, when reality arrives. Watch this space closely. Until I see you on the next video, remain blessed.